Hey everybody, Brent Sales here again. Today we're going to talk about the 3 types of customers. Now, there's 3 types of customers you're going to encounter. The Bad Bob, the Lay Down Larry, and everyone else. Okay, so let's talk about Bad Bob. Bad Bob's about 5% of the customers you're gonna meet, and he's going to be about 90% of what all salespeople talk about. Oh, this customer, he's a jerk, he wouldn't do this, he did it. They sit there, and those 5-car Freddies downstairs, they're sitting there just talking about the one bad customer they had that month. Right? They don't talk about, if it's a 5-car Freddy, the 4 great customers that bought. They talk about that one bad customer that bought and made their life miserable, they didn't make any money. So, Bad Bob is that customer that comes in and says, no, I don't shake the hands of salespeople, and you know what, just tell me what my trade's worth, tell me what the car's worth, and I'm going to go down the street and I'm going to talk to every single salesperson in the world. But guess what? Bad Bob, first of all, Bad Bob drove up in a car, so at some point, someone sold him a car, and he's looking for another one. But Bad Bob is usually created by bad salespeople and bad sales processes. Bad Bob started out as everyone else, as the 85%. We're going to talk about the rest of the customers. And he walks into a dealership and he's like, hey, I really like to look at this car. And they go, well, are you interested? Are you really buying? They don't treat him like a buyer. And he goes, yeah, well, I'm interested and I'd like to look at this car. So they take him on a half-assed demo. Don't get him excited. And he says, okay, well, how much are the payments? Well, we can't tell you that unless you tell us you're committed to buying. And he says, well, I can't commit to buying unless you tell me how much payments are. And they say, well, I can't tell you how much payments are until you commit to buying. He's like, geez Louise, okay, yeah, I'm committed to buying, sure. He lies to them because they forced him to lie. Then he says, well, how much is my trade worth? He said, hey, man, I'll tell you what your trade's worth, but are you buying? And he has to defend himself again and say, yeah, I'm buying. And they give him some numbers, they don't try to close them, or they try hard closing them, and he's getting a bad feeling, so he leaves. Goes down the street, gets the exact same thing, goes, hey, I just drove this car down the street, how much is it? Well, I can't tell you how much it is until you're willing to buy. And he goes, oh my God, this is horrible. By the time he reaches your dealership, he's dealt with far too many horrible salespeople and horrible sales processes. Right? So we in the industry create Bad Bob sometimes. Okay? Then there's Lay Down Larry. He's 10% of the customers. Lay Down Larry's great. And for some reason, only the rookies get Lay Down Larrys. Because the veterans, they're such good closers, they'll never get a Lay Down Larry. But Lay Down Larry comes in and says, how much is that car? And because if it's 22 grand, I'll pay you 24 for it. And you say, well, we only and you have it in white. No, I only have it in black. Fine, I'll take black. That's fine. And you know what? I just had my car appraised down the street for 4 grand, but it's probably only worth 2. So if you give me 2, you give me that one, I'll pay extra, and probably going to buy your warranties and your protection products and all that kind of stuff. So that's Lay Down Larry. But it only happens because rookies get the Lay Down Larrys, right? Lay downs. You can create lay downs by doing your job. Build the relationship. Gather all the information, give an amazing presentation demonstration. Remember, 50% of the customers buy on the spot. There's a laydown, I guess, if you do your job. And learn how to close and negotiate for the benefit of the customer, and then create a lifetime customer. I guess they'll become laydowns. Now, the rest of the customers, the 85%, you just have to make it make sense, and they buy every single time. You gotta find out what makes sense to them. Now, what makes sense to them might not make sense in business. Oh, it makes sense for this $20,000 car to be 10 grand. Okay, that doesn't make sense to us. We can't make it happen. But if you find out what makes sense to them and you make it make sense, this purchase, they'll buy every single time. Right? It's a good close to use later on. Hey, when they're leaving, say, hey, hold on. I know that if it made sense, you'd gotta be buying it. Am I right? I'm not crazy to think that you'd buy it if it made sense. And they say, no, you're not crazy. We'd probably buy it. Okay. Well, what doesn't make sense? This is a great way to ask. Find out what doesn't make sense. How come I didn't solve the problem? Why doesn't this solve the problem that you currently walked into the dealership with? So 85% of those customers out there, if you make it make sense, they'll buy every single time. And that's what you're looking for. Now, they might hold the treasure map. They might have the X marked on this makes sense, and you're digging holes everywhere to find out. The better you get in sales, the faster you'll dig those holes and find the X marks the spot, find out what makes sense to your customers. Have an awesome day.